wear a uniform, this doesn't mean he's not a human being, that he is made to die. No, he wants to live, he's got a family, he's got a life. But he is willing to stake his life for the sake of national well-being. When I say national well-being, nation is not an abstract idea.
Case of youngster Disha Ravi, who for editing a so-called toolkit was arrested. I want to ask you, this turmoil, is this turmoil a result of a new generation wanting to assert itself? Or is this a turmoil because there is a state which wants to own and assert itself over the people of this country?
I do not know the full details of what the charges were and stuff, but essentially reading the newspapers, we understood that this was somehow related to the January 26th. And when the court says, no, it is not so, it is over. I don't think we should make it such a big deal. We don't have to glorify them or crucify them, we should just go by the law.
Going by the law, but the fact is, the sedition charge coming very, very frequently. I'm asking you that larger question of whether states should be using the sedition charge so very often and so very liberally, given the fact that, you know, sometimes we are talking of young people in our country, and when we use the sedition charge, is our democracy so flimsy, so floundering that it gets threatened by these youngsters? Is our democracy, is our national security so flimsy that the state has to use this very often? There is a debate, you know, that goes on. And of course, there are some people who do feel that the national emblems, the national iconic structures like Red Fort, if somebody violates that, where will it actually go and stop? So nationalism on one side, questioning on the other, that's the turmoil, that's the debate that's going on in the society. Which side do you stand on?
See, I'm not someone who identifies with a limited identity just like that. But at the same time, nation is the largest segment of humanity that you can address right now. We have not come to such a point in the world that the whole world can embrace each other and simply live out of love and joy. There is no such reality. Maybe that's aspiration, but that is not the reality. Right now, if the defense forces are not there on the border, see, people think war happens on the border. War happens on the border because of the efficiency of our soldiers and military forces. Otherwise, it'll be happening in your streets. Don't think the forces which fight on your border, the opposing forces or enemy forces which fight at your border, if there is no efficient defense there, will they be in Delhi or not? For sure they will be in Delhi. This is foolish that people have gotten this idea, war happens in the border. War is happening in the border because somebody is taking their life. And if all of us say, we don't care for the national flag, we don't care for the national anthem, we don't care for the national boundary, please tell all the soldiers, why are you wasting your life? Go home, live with your family happily. Why are you staking your life on a daily basis? For what? If the people don't care, so people do care. It's just a handful of people who are misguided. We should not consider people as young and old when it comes to either crime. See, right now whether it's a crime against an individual human being or against the society or against the larger nation, the question of what is your age doesn't arise. Whatever is your age, the moment you're 18, you're considered an adult, that you can drive a car, you can vote, you can choose your leadership, you can do many other things. So once you have this, you also have a responsibility. You cannot hide behind your age. Age is not a factor, whether you are 20 or you're 80. The responsibility of being a citizen is the same. So, is the sedition charges being used too often? I really do not know, because many times unfortunately it doesn't stick. When it doesn't stick, it shows maybe it was used in haste, but at the same time, are there forces which are trying to divide the country? Do we have a history of breaking of this nation? Yes, we have. a very painful history where over 500,000 people died and still we are bleeding because of that, of that injury that happened to the geographical nation being broken into three pieces. We are still suffering for that. Do you want a further dismemberment? I'm saying 100% no. I am not for any further dismemberment, because if at all, if it is possible, we must see how to reunite, if not as a nation, at least as a union of nations. These 4 or 5 nations should come together and see how we can become an economic force in the world. Because if all these nations were together as a union, I'm saying, now if I say this, people think, oh, we are thinking of Akhand Bharat, I have no such idea. All I'm saying is, for the sake of geographical integrity, because if any economy has to function well, a geographic integrity is needed, which we don't have. Somebody has just drawn lines on the map, we have drawn lines that are indefensible. I've been talking to the military commanders, they're saying, Sadhguru, this is ridiculous, the kind of areas that they're asking us to defend. Because there is emotion on the television screen, they're asking us to defend places which are indefensible. We just cannot defend those places. It is best that we sit down, talk to each other and make an arrangement, what can be defended, what cannot be defended. But there is no room for that because everything is handled with great emotion. You must understand, somebody is taking their life out there. Just because they wear a uniform, this doesn't mean he's not a human being, that he is made to die. No, he wants to live, he's got a family, he's got a life. But he is willing to stake his life for the sake of national well-being. When I say national well-being, nation is not an abstract idea.